Hey there, I'm Frank Mitchell. On this channel, it's all about helping you understand your car and keeping it running the way it should. Whether it's routine maintenance or solving those tricky problems, I've got you covered. If you find this useful, give the video a like, hit that subscribe button, and be sure to watch till the end. You might learn something that saves you time and money. All right, let's get started.
Electric cars are no longer an alternative, but a clear and palpable reality. The world is witnessing a change in the way it moves, the most important change in 100 years. The advent of electric mobility has plagued drivers with doubts about how to choose an electric car. Many questions about performance, reliability, behavior, and costs. Rising electricity prices can make a big difference, but the question is always the same: how much does it cost to charge an electric car, and where can I charge it? There is no fixed and concrete answer to such a question. The prices for charging an electric car can vary greatly depending on the time of day, the type of car, the power, or the location. Just like conventional gas stations, different charging stations for electric cars offer different prices. However, the advantage of a battery-powered vehicle is that we can recharge at home, which is always going to be cheaper, although it also has some added costs that must be taken into account. Another advantage is that there are electric cars that suffer little devaluation. How much does it cost to charge an electric car at home? When buying an electric car, it is necessary and mandatory to install a home charging point. The public infrastructure does not yet allow the absolute tranquility of being able to recharge in the street, and taking into account that it is estimated that more than 70% of cars sleep outdoors, the safest and most advisable is to recharge the electric car at home. Do not miss our detailed guide on how to install a recharging point, either in a private garage or in a communal garage. Installation prices vary greatly depending on conditions and power. Many companies charge for the length of the cables. The farther away we are from the meter room, the more expensive the installation will be. In a private garage, the price of the installation can be between €750 and €1,000, the most common being to install charging sockets between 7.4 and 11 kilowatts. In communal garages, it is also possible to install a charging point. With prior notice to the community and to the owner if the space is rented, the procedure will be the same with costs similar to those of a private garage. After this small initial investment, we will be able to charge our electric car in the comfort of our home. Now all that remains is to find out what the price of charging is. Once again, there is no fixed price. It depends on the contract and the company with which we have contracted the services. It also depends on the time, because as you know, there are more expensive and cheaper hours. The most advisable is to charge at night, taking advantage of the off-peak hours of the electricity tariff. In this case, a car with a battery of 60 kilowatt-hour net capacity and a price per kilowatt-hour of €0.213, the cost of recharging is €12.78. For that amount we could travel a distance of more than 400 kilometers. Electricity rates for electric cars: in recent months the price of electricity has been rising. Although the European Union is trying to balance the scales, the reality is that electricity bills are rising month by month. In addition to this fact, there are different ways of contracting electricity on the market. Different companies offer different tariffs, some of them with specific contracts for charging electric cars, such as Endesa, Iberdrola, or Repsol. It should be taken into account that there are three different price brackets for electricity: peak hour, between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and between 6 p.m. and 10 p.m., flat hour, between 8 a.m. and 10 a.m., between 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. and between 10 p.m. and midnight, and, finally, there are the off-peak hours, between midnight and 8 a.m., as well as all hours on Saturdays, Sundays, and holidays. This is important to bear in mind when recharging an electric car, as the price can vary considerably. The approximate prices per tranche are as follows: peak hour, €0.3098, €0.35006. Flat hour, €0.26155, €0.29573. Off-peak hour, €0.21323, €25286 taking into account these prices, and using as an example the previous case of an electric car with a 60 kilowatt-hour net capacity battery, the prices of a complete domestic recharge can range from €12.8 to €21. Charging the electric car at zero cost overnight according to a study by Electric Mobility, if we contract a suitable electricity tariff, calculating our charging habits and the power required, we can save a significant amount of money. But be careful, because according to the study, although at first sight they may seem beneficial, the tariffs designed for electric car owners do not represent a real saving, but rather the opposite. Although each electricity company offers programs that differ from each other, the usual thing is that the user can choose between tariffs without time discrimination, i.e., a flat rate in which you pay a fixed cost per kilowatt-hour, rates with night discrimination in which you can charge at zero cost during the night, and rates in which the user chooses the time slot in which the cost discrimination is applied, although not at €0, but with a price lower than that of peak hours. The but of the night tariffs that allow recharging without cost is that they are usually limited to a certain amount of kilowatt-hour per month, and once exceeded, they charge again regardless of the time at which the elements of higher consumption, such as the electric car, are connected. In the Electric Mobility study, in which they compare the cost of charging a car with a 60 kilowatt-hour battery if the different modalities of Endesa, Iberdrola and Naturgy are contracted, and always assuming the same conditions, such as that the house has an additional consumption of 420 kilowatt-hours every 2 months, they obtain these results. Endesa, the result of the study shows that if the Tempo Zero tariff is contracted, designed to consume 250 kilowatt-hours at zero cost in 2 months, in hours from 1 to 7 o'clock, you pay €174.20 more than if you contract the domestic tariff without time discrimination, which has a discount of 20% the first year, and that for the same scenario would cost €156.40. Iberdrola, with the same conditions of the previous comparison, the costs would be stable plan, €120.45, night plan, €121.80, choose plan, €131.82, electric vehicle plan, €135.47. Therefore, the most expensive plan is, in fact, the one offered by Iberdrola precisely for electric car owners. Naturgy, with this company, the comparison has been made between the tariff per use, with a fixed cost of kilowatt-hour, in which case you would pay €107.91, and the night tariff, with 3 time slots and which would cost €112.18. Again, counterintuitively, Naturgy's least expensive tariff is the one that does not offer advantages for specific times of the day. Price at public recharging points and petrol stations. Outside the home, it is also possible to recharge an electric car, although in that case we must know that the price will be higher. The Spanish public infrastructure is at the bottom of the European Union, but there are more and more points where you can charge electric cars when you are away from home. The different facilities are managed by various companies such as Ionity, Tesla, Repsol, Endesa, or Winia. The price for recharging an electric car at these points will vary depending on factors such as power or the company. As an example, the prices currently offered by Repsol are as follows: normal charge, up to 20 kilowatts 29 cents per kilowatt-hour, fast charge, up to 50 kilowatts 39 cents per kilowatt-hour, ultra-fast charging, over 150 kilowatts €0.446 per kilowatt-hour. Once again, using the example above, recharging a car with a 60 kilowatt-hour battery can cost between €17.4 and €26.76. Bear in mind that the lower the charging power, the longer the car must be connected to the socket. This can vary from just a few minutes, approximately 30 minutes, to several hours. Now then comes the million-dollar question: is it possible to recharge without paying anything? Yes, it is also possible to recharge an electric car for free, although only in some very specific places such as shopping centers, supermarkets, restaurants, or other centers. In these cases, the charging power is very low, below 2.3 kilowatts, which means that we will have to be connected for many hours to be able to recover a significant amount of charge. It should also be mentioned that these points are usually very crowded, so it will be difficult to find empty places where we can charge our electric car. In CarWow, we help you to buy your new car, electric car, 0 kilometers car, and leasing. In conclusion, understanding the cost of charging an electric car is essential for making informed decisions about your vehicle and budget. On average, charging an electric car can range from $1 to $3 for a full charge, depending on your local electricity rates and the size of your battery. By considering factors such as home charging versus public charging, as well as the efficiency of your vehicle, you can better estimate your monthly expenses. Ultimately, electric cars not only offer a more sustainable option for transportation but can also lead to significant savings over time. Thank you for watching, and we hope this information helps you navigate the world of electric vehicle ownership.